Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Or how are you guys doing on this beautiful, and I mean beautiful, Tuesday? Especially, where I'm at. Um, the sun is out. There's a lot of foot traffic. The economy is great where I'm at. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up, so happy Thanksgiving to all of you who believe in that holiday or who celebrate the holiday. Positivity is definitely coming your way also. Hope all is well with you and your family. I have a great topic for today. The topic is about Giorgia Meloni, the new prime minister of Italy. A lot of people who are following this prime minister, she's the first female prime minister of Italy, by the way. A lot of people are going to call her a fascist. A lot of people are going to say that she is the reincarnation of Mussolini. However, I totally disagree with that. I believe that Georgia Meloni is doing the work of the Lord. First of all, she wants to protect the sovereignty of Italy. She wants to secure the borders of Italy. A lot of these European countries cannot take on the burden of the world by having all these immigrants coming in. They just can't. And Italy is one of them. But the fact of the matter is that she did an excellent job, in my opinion, in calling out France's president, Macron. You know, Macron um, pretty much condemned Georgia Meloni for turning away a boat of migrants or immigrants. She turned him away. And truth be told, I agree with her on that. You know, France is responsible for, and she's right. A lot of these immigrants are coming from former colonies of France. But instead of France taking them, why should Italy take them? I agree 100% with this woman. I agree with what the woman said about, or the prime minister of Italy said about France, and how France looted resources, or and continues to loot resources and depletes these countries to this day of their natural resources, to the point where they have to leave to come to Europe. I agree with her. I agree with her when she says, hey, look, man, we shouldn't have to take in Africans or other groups of people. Let them keep their resources. Let them build their own country. Let them use their own resources to gain wealth, to enrich themselves. Let's stay out of Africa. I agree with her. I agree with any European politician that says, let's stay out of Africa. Let's leave the Africans there so that they can utilize their own resources. I agree with her. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm going to get into that topic. Salute to Wendell Brewer. Positivity is definitely coming your way, Wendell. Hope all is well with you and your family, my good sir. Wendell, Thanksgiving is on its way. Positivity is definitely coming your way. Salute to you. We also have Valerie in the building. Valerie says, hi, chaotic, in the chat. Salute to you, Valerie. I hope all is well with you and your family. And also, happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm going to play also a video. What's up, Lawrence? How you doing? I'm going to play a video, and I'm also going to read a few articles to get you guys brushed up on, Italian politics and how they can apply to America. Even in America right now, we have a crisis at the border, and a lot of liberals, we know what liberals we're talking about, white liberals. They'll sit up there all day long and they'll talk about how they support illegal immigration, et cetera, et cetera. But when those governors, when the Texas governor, when the Florida governor started sending these illegals to their doorsteps up north, watch how these liberal whites started acting. Do you remember what happened at Martha's Vineyard? A country, a country should take care of its own citizens, its own population. And in my opinion, Italy is a very unique place in itself. The Italian people, let's be completely honest, the Italian people are homogenous. And if you have and a real Italian that is saying, look, man, we need to have national pride. We need to have pride in our history. We cannot bear the burden of having everybody come over here. Italy is only so much big. It's only so big. You got to agree with that. And I totally agree with her. Miss Betts, thank you so much. Oh, what's up, Lawrence? How you doing? What's up, Miss Betts? Miss Betts says she kicked some French butts. Oh, she definitely did. She definitely did. She's a powerful speaker too. You don't even need to know Italian to know what she's saying. Salute to you, Miss Betts. Positivity is definitely coming your way. Hope all is well with you and yours. Miss Betts says, play Chuck Schumer's latest speech about the topic. Lawrence says, my father is an Itai, in Italian. Guys, let's get the likes up. Let's get the video out there. Let's share this video. Let's talk about this topic, guys. We have a problem in America. Illegals are allowed to come into the country. They become a drain on society. They bring their crimes. They bring their problems with them. And they do. And not only do they bring their crimes and their problems with them and their, multiplicity of children, etc., they also bring their flags with them. And that in itself, right there, is an indication of a society that is in decay. In America, we have a lack of national pride, at least the way that I see it. We have a lack of national pride. You have people from other countries. Just a few weeks ago, there were people hopping the border. They had their flags from, what was it? Venezuelan's flag. They have Venezuelan flags. They had their Mexican flags. And they're waving their flags proudly on American soil. For the life of me, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine going to, let's say, China. I couldn't imagine going to China with a big American flag, just driving my flag, with my flag attached to my vehicle, just driving with that flag, just waving in, I don't know, what's a Chinese city? What is a Chinese city? Any Chinese city for that matter. Could you imagine going to Hong Kong and doing this? It's an absurdity. And I am so glad that this woman has the balls, no pun intended, has the balls to speak out against foreigners coming over into Italy, draining resources, and bringing their culture with them. The beauty of, let's say, Rome, for example. Rome has a continuous culture, Rome is one of the oldest continuous cities. It's, according to historians, over 30 centuries or 3,000 years old of a continuous culture. And, just like south of the border here, you know, parts of, let's get into the States. You have places in Texas that look like Mexico. You have places in Los Angeles that look like Mexico. Why didn't you just stay in Mexico? Why didn't you just stay in Venezuela? If you're going to make the neighborhood look like it. So the same thing can be applied overseas. I can understand, a woman or or a homogenous Italian whose ancestry goes back thousands of years. I could understand them looking at the Colosseum of Rome, at the aqueducts, at the, all of the great antiquity and saying, wait a minute, whoa, 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 what's going on here? You're coming over here and you're bringing your culture. You're coming over here and you want us to, you're forcing us, you're forcing Middle Eastern culture on us. You're forcing African culture on us. This is my homeland. I can understand that because I wouldn't want somebody to do that here in the States. So I agree with that prime minister on that. Salute to everybody that is in the chat. Fitch, salute to you, says, come to America and fly your country's flag on your front porch and your car windows. Yeah, Beijing, thank you so much. And thank you so much for also being a member too. And salute to you. Your membership is greatly appreciated on the Lapeef Network. What's up, Scrap Skrilla says, what up, CT? How are you doing? Tap says, what's good, CT? How are you doing, Tap? Tap the accountability also says, just stopping through to say what's up. But yeah, I'm just saying, man, Georgia Meloni, she's an incredible prime minister. Incredible. And she's not liberal, man. She's so right, meaning on the right side. She has condemned the rainbow, the encroachment of the rainbow community in that country in terms of a political aspect. She's condemned it. She says, listen, we want nuclear families, period, point blank. We have nuclear families. We have a continued society. I support that woman. I support her 100%. Guys, let me show you who this lovely woman is. Her name is Giorgia Meloni. Hope I'm saying it right. But she's an Italian. She's the prime minister of Italy. And let me show you this video real quick of this beautiful woman. And I want you to pay attention to this. Pay attention. What's up, Brittany? How you doing? Guys, give a big shout out to Brittany for coming through. Brittany, I don't know how you do it. It seems like you never sleep. You're always are energetic. So salute to you, Brittany, for always hosting great shows. Thank you so much, Brittany. This is Georgia Meloni. Give me a second here.
Non è prendere gli africani e spostarli in Europa.
Now, I don't have a clue as to what she's saying. I don't speak Italian, but she's very passionate. She's very passionate. Look at what she said. Now, the subtitles say,
Allora la soluzione
so the solution is to not take the Africans and bring them to Europe. I agree with her. Because the problem is, and I gotta say this, and like I said before, why bring them to why Italy of all places? Again, why not the countries that conquered them? She's absolutely right. The solution is to not take the Africans and bring them to Europe. The solution is to have these Africans, any country, build your own country up with your own natural resources. Europeans should stay out of Africa. That's what she's saying. These are very woke. This is, I mean, even though she's a far right, this is a very woke statement. Hold on, let's keep on playing.
non è prendere gli africani e spostarli in Europa. La soluzione è liberare l'Africa da certi europei che
Welcome to Canada.
She says the solution is to free Africa from certain Europeans who exploit it. Wow. This woman, in my opinion, is pro-Africa. She's acknowledging that European powers exploit Africa. We know that they do. Energy. Man, gold, diamond, cobalt. I mean, Africa is, in my opinion, is heaven on earth in terms of resources. There's a French billionaire. He owns all types of ports throughout former French colonies in Africa. This woman is very radical right now. She's going to go down in history, in my opinion, as one of the greatest European leaders of the 21st century. Let's keep on playing. Let's keep on playing the video. I mean, not playing, but let's keep playing the video.
Candid Africa. Truthful and unapologetic.
questo si chiama franco CFA. È la moneta coloniale che la Francia stampa per 14 nazioni africane.
I want you guys to pay close attention to this. See, a lot of people don't know this about Burkina Faso, which was called Upper Volta before time. I remember I did the video on Thomas Sankara, who was the president of what used to be called Upper Volta. He changed the name of the country to Burkina Faso, and other former French colonies, Senegal, etc. Their money essentially is printed through France. France controls these countries to this day. Colonialism never ended. But pay attention to what she says.
alle quali applica il signoraggio e in forza delle quali sfrutta le risorse di questa nazione. Questo è un bambino che lavora in una miniera d'oro in Burkina Faso. Il Burkina Faso è una delle nazioni più povere del mondo.
You see that? Do you see that? Burkina Faso, which is a landlocked African nation state, just recently went through another coup d'etat. Government instability for the last 70 years or whenever colonialism ended. France charges a 50% export fee on revenue. Can you imagine that? No wonder why these people leave the country. This woman is exposed. Well, she's not really exposed. And, this is what people already know about the countries or these former countries. So she's saying, listen, why should we take up the very same people that are leaving the countries that you've pretty much depleted of resources and wealth? I agree with her. Call France out every single time, Georgia.
Per il Burkina Faso che ha l'oro, la Francia stampa moneta coloniale. In cambio pretende che finiscano nelle casse del tesoro francese il 50%.
That's what she said. It says in return, they demand that 50% of everything that Burkina Faso exports end up in the coffers, treasury of the, it already says French treasury. Yeah. The link is dropped. It's at the top. You can click the link. You can get in. You know who's going to call this woman a fascist? Liberals. See, liberals aren't going to tackle exploitation in Africa because it benefits them. So Macron of France, he's not going to tackle it. He's going to look at poor old little Italy and say, well, why aren't you taking the refugees? Why aren't you taking the illegal immigrants? Why aren't you taking them? They could die in transit. And she's saying, well, hey, man, you take them. It's your problem. Aren't you the president of the very same country that exploits these people? It's all your companies are in all your companies are in that country. I don't want to forget the names of these companies. I thought I wrote them down. Arriva is one of them. I wrote it down yesterday. Areno is another one. A company called ELF, ELF is one of them. Electricity in France is powered by Africa. Because France has control of their rivers. But let's keep playing. Let's keep going. Not keep playing, but you know what I mean. Ms. Betts says first she showed the French colony currency enforced on several African countries, and in exchange, the French take out the natural gold resources. Yeah. You know why, Miss Best? Because after colonialism, the French, those evil bastards that they are, they made their former colonies so hopelessly dependent on them that they signed cooperation agreements. And in these cooperation agreements, one of the agreements were, hey, we still have we as in France, still have rights to your natural resources. So if you own a little, let's say I don't know, let's use gold. If you are a person in Senegal, you find a gold mine. Well, according to this agreement, that's the state, the French state has rights to that gold mine. So yeah, you can mine it all you want. You can start your little company there. But you are charged 50%. So let's keep on watching. Miss Beth says, "Ooh, bureaucrats do it too, probably because they are leftists." Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let's keep watching.
Di tutto quello che il Burkina Faso esporta. L'oro che questo bambino si infila in un cunicolo per tirare fuori finisce per lo più nelle casse dello Stato francese.
Yeah, it ends up, like I said, in the hands of the French, all because the French government and a lot of politicians of former colonial states signed this idiocrat or this with contractual agreement in the 50s and the 60s. So now the people are so poor, they don't benefit off the resources. They don't benefit off of that. Even if they tried to, they can't benefit off of it. So what do? They in turn they go to the country that extracted the resource, refined it, and has a finished product. Doesn't matter what it is, and they go there, and now they flooded Europe to the point where there's an immigration crisis there, not just in Africa, but other parts of the planet, the Middle East, Southeast Asians. And now they've become a burden on the indigenous people that are in these places, like Italy, for one. And as a result, it doesn't happen widespread, but as a result, you have immigrants who come there and they get attacked in xenophobic attacks, and then they complain. But don't you see where it starts from? I agree with Georgia. I agree with her. The resources in Africa should stay in the hands of the Africans. Miss Beth says French Republic is in a way the opposite of the American Republic. Yours is better. Thank you so much. Black Seinfeld said natural resources is black people. What is gold is black people. They put black people's blood in computers. I didn't know that they put black blood in computers. I did not know that. Let's keep watching the video.
Allora la soluzione non è prendere gli africani e spostarli in Europa. La soluzione è liberare l'Africa da in Europa. La soluzione è liberare l'Africa da certi europei che la sfruttano e consentire a queste persone di vivere di quello che hanno.
Did you like or hate what you heard?
I loved every minute of what she said. I loved it. This woman is, like I said, this woman is ahead of her time. Guys, the link is dropped if you would like to hit it. Happy Tuesday once again, guys. You guys are an incredible audience. Please hit that like button. Please share this video. I just played a video of Giorgia Meloni, who is the Prime Minister of Italy. Now, a lot of people will take what she said out of context. A lot of people will say that she's a fascist. She's a realist. And if black people in Africa, especially African blacks, we as a people need to control the resources there. And not just at a small scale, but I mean at a high level. Everything, the iron ore, the cobalt, the gold, the diamonds, the water. Water creates all types of energy, the oil. Could you imagine if the African nationalized the entire continent? I'm talking about all 57 nations in Africa, just nationalized. the resources and stop this dependence on Europe. Africa could be Wakanda. It could be. If there was one language, one lingua franca, one banking system, an African continental economy based on the goods and services of the people there, based on the resources there. Africa could be Wakanda. The European, for so many years, has brought death and destruction and exploitation to Africa. That is a fact. Thomas Sankara, who was a hero of mine growing up, he wanted to nationalize Burkina Faso. He wanted to nationalize the resources there. He was not opponent, but he was a proponent of individuals staying within Burkina Faso and building up the country. But the French had their hands in the pot. They didn't like that. And they installed Blaise Compaoré, who was ousted a few years ago. And many of these rulers were funded by the French. And Georgia Meloni is correct. She is absolutely correct to point that out about them. Lord Spike, thank you so much for joining the channel. Lord Spike says, do you think China will eventually own Qatar's natural gas supply? To be honest with you, so for people who don't know, China and Qatar went into a contractual agreement for 27 or 28 years. The fact of the matter is that the Chinese, at least from my understanding, are businessmen. They bring industry into Africa, development into Africa, and also into places like in the Middle East, like Qatar. If the Chinese are going into contracts and they're supplying their engineers and they're the ones who are going to be the quote unquote, not quote unquote, but the project managers, the managing directors, etc., then yes, eventually they will own Qatar's, or they will control Qatar's natural gas supply, as they should. You know, again, countries have to learn and fast how to maintain control of their own resources for their body politic. Hopefully that answers your question, Lord Spike. But yes, I do believe that China will eventually own Qatar's natural gas supply. Let's see here. Who else is in the chat? You know, like I said before, if China comes into Africa, in many places of Africa, like Kenya, and they say, hey, man, we want this port here. But what we'll do is we'll build the roads, we'll build the stadium, we'll build this, that, and the other. But we want control of this port for 100 years. Hey, if the government decides to lease this port out for 100 years, hey, so be it. If they don't learn from the mistakes of the past, then maybe they should be exploited. I hate to say it like that. Audie says the Chinese government will bring what will be good for them, not what's good for the people. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect them to do? What do you expect them to do? You know, people globally would love to be treated equally, but this is not how reality works. Reality is based on competition. Reality is based on who can be first, who can be smarter, or who can cheat. Do you think that people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to study hard and I'm going to be honest? And no, no, no. That's not how reality really works. The Chinese, wherever they go, they are Chinese. Whatever they do, it is for the interests of Chinese. Now, they'll build up infrastructure all they want, but they know that, hey, if we control this port, we can control the sea around here, or the water around here, or we can control certain aspects of land territory. They're not dumb. They're thinking about 100 years in the future. They're thinking about 200 years in the future. Maybe Africans should think like that too. Just my point of view, though. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Guys, please hit that like button if you can. Ms. Best says China is about to own Africa completely. Yeah, unfortunately, that is quite, or that could be a possibility. But the beauty of what Prime Minister Georgia Meloni says, and maybe this will kick some fire into the behinds of the Africans on the continent. Hey, look, you're being exploited. Most of you, you're being exploited for your natural resources. Your natural resources are the reason why. Do you know? Do you know that France would not be ranked in the top 5 economies on the world if it were not for the exploitation of Africa? They'd be ranked like 20th. French politicians have said that before. Let's see here. Salute to everybody in the chat. Okay, where are we at? Audie Boy says, I don't expect anything different, just saying Africa has too much corruption. Ooh, yeah. There are many countries that are corrupt in Africa. I would say most of them. I would say maybe like in Angola, you have, like Luanda, Angola is one of the wealthiest cities in Africa, if not on the planet. And the more economy comes into an area, the more regulatory bodies you can get, the more security or government influence, maybe the more banking institutions, the local government around you would provide hey, look, we want people to come to Luanda. We can't be corrupt. I feel like the more economy comes, the least corruption, the least amount of corruption. I would highly doubt that there is corruption at a large scale in a place like Singapore. I would doubt it. Maybe that is the reason why Singapore has become the financial hub, or one of the top financial hubs on the planet, because they've eliminated corruption. Maybe corruption needs to be eliminated in most parts of Africa. Look, in Nigeria, where corruption is absolutely rampant. You and I both know that Nigeria is an emerging market. The potential in Nigeria is off the scale, but they have to eliminate corruption. If you eliminate corruption, you get people who want to come in and do business left and right. You have tourists who want to come in. You have all types of people who want to come in. But if you can't eliminate the small things, like hell, even like people having to pay bribes to the police, I mean, why would I, an American, why would I want to go to these countries and I gotta pay a bribe? Something that primitive. Just end little things like that in these countries, and you will be shocked. You'll be absolutely shocked. I agree with you, CC. Africa should be the richest continent in the world. I agree with you. It should be with all the resources that are there. His ghetto point of view says facts. France stranglehold on African nations plus Haiti has made them a superpower. Oh yeah, France would even admit it. They would even admit it. Let me see. Let me drop this. Check this out. This is from Politico. Meloni, who is the current prime minister of Italy, and Macron, who is the president of France, clash over migrants. Relations between France and Italy nosedive over who should take in migrants on rescue ships. Guys, which country should take the migrants? Many of these migrants have come, these particular migrants have come from the country of Libya. And you know, Libya has been unstable, or Libya has been unstable since the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi. And we all know Muammar Gaddafi wanted to introduce the gold dinar. He was an advocate of nationalization or African or global nationalization. But which country should? Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm saying. Give me a second. Here we go. Which country should take in the migrants? Now, if it were up to me, and I think this is what Georgia is doing, if it were up to me, I send each and every last one of those migrants back to their home country. Italy cannot keep, I know it's a port country, it's right on the Mediterranean, right above Northern Africa. But they can't have all these people in their country. They can't. Look at what's happened to UK. Look at what's happened with all the migrants and immigration into UK. You have people who are fleeing the UK. You know why? Look at the crime wave. Look at the cultures that are there. If you want your culture, stay in your own country. Build up your own country. But let me keep reading though. Salute to everybody in the chat. Lord says, I would send them to the Vatican. Oh, no, 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 no. Miss Bet says, UK is really struggling. Audie Boy says, I believe France is taking a lot, and it wasn't an assassination. It was that we armed and played a role in their overthrowing. I'll tell you something else about France. And Meloni, she hasn't really talked about this. Check out how many times France has been in it. I mean, not Italy. Check out how many times France has had engagements in West Africa. I think it's over like 100. These people are the French are terrorizing Africa. Many of those former countries, again, they have cooperation agreements that go back since colonialism, meaning that France can have their military there anytime they want. They can dictate policy. They can install individuals. I already told you about Burkina Faso. They installed Blaise Compaoré to be president, totally undermining everything that Thomas Sankara had already did. Oh, you blacks, you wanna have your own textile industries, you wanna have your own you want to control your own energy, you want to control your own this, that, and the other. Oh, watch this. This woman is absolutely right about the French. Give me a second here. So Meloni and Macron clash over migrants. For anybody who is just coming in, this is the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has accused France of betrayal, of course, as the two governments clash over who should take rescue boats full of migrants. Paris froze plans. Think about this. There was an agreement to take in migrants between the two countries. France froze plans to take in 3,500 migrants from Italy, part of a European redistribution deal, and suggested other countries follow suit after Italy refused to allow NGO vessel Ocean Viking to land. I think that's the boat with the Libyan not refugees, but migrants, directing it to France instead. The French Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin also announced plans to fortify the border with Italy against migrant crossings. A press conference in Rome on Friday, Meloni blamed the incident on a misunderstanding and said that the request that in other countries isolate Italy, in my view, betrays the European dynamic of solidarity and sharing. Guys, this is on par. Hear me out. This situation right here is on par with what's going on in the States. These liberal governors, these liberal mayors, they 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 love illegal immigration. They love quote unquote what's the word I'm looking for? Um the word in companies. When they love progressive ideas. But as soon as those far right governors sent these illegal immigrants to their back door, oh, why are you doing this? We have to get rid of them. We can't take these people. This is the same thing that happened in France. Macron is responsible for a lot of these people. He's pro helping these people. But as soon as Italy sent these migrants to his doorstep, oh, well, why would she do that? Why can't Italy take them? Let's keep on going here. Guys, the link is dropped. His ghetto point of view says they don't like Meloni's conservative views and will isolate her at all cost. Like she said, though, she ready for the military action if need be. Respect and save Italy. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's keep reading. So again, Paris froze plans to take in 3,500 migrants from Italy, part of the European redistribution deal, and suggested other countries follow suit after Italy refused to allow the NGO vessel. That's a big vessel, by the way. You should look it up. The NGO vessel Ocean Viking to land, directing it to France instead. The French Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin also announced plans to fortify the border with Italy against migrant crossings. At a press conference in Rome on Friday, Meloni blamed the incident on a misunderstanding and said that the request that other countries isolate Italy. In my views, betrays the European dynamic of solidarity and sharing. Having promised to defend Italy's interest in Europe, just weeks into her premiership, Meloni now finds herself in a diplomatic role that threatens to damage Rome's interest and leave her isolated in Europe. I don't think so. And I'm going to tell you why. Italy, I think Italy, if I'm not mistaken, has the number 3 economy in Europe. What are they going to do? What are these other European countries going to do? They're entangled in the European Union. What are they going to do to her? Give me a second here. Sir, what's going on, sir? What say you about Prime Minister Meloni and this situation with these migrants? And sir, you are from the UK, correct? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute. You're still on mute. How about this? I'll put you to back. Give me a thumbs up when you make some corrections. Let me keep on reading real quick. Let me see when he gets done. Meloni said she was struck by the aggressive reaction of the French government. Could you imagine this? The French. They exploit people left and right, leave people destitute. And now the French are crying. Imagine this. The French aggressive reaction of the French government, which is incomprehensible and unjustified, and pointed out that Italy has taken in 90,000 migrants from the Mediterranean this year alone, including 600 from the NGO vessels on the same day that France agreed to take 234 on the Ocean Viking. I bet you if I type in which country is bigger, France is bigger than Italy. Let's see what comes up. France. Think about this. France is twice. I've never been to France before. I can't hear you, man. France is twice the size of Italy.
My fault.
Oh, I can hear you
My
now.
fault. I didn't have the mic on.
Go ahead, sir. What say you about President? I mean, not President, but
Premier Meloni.
yeah, the Prime Minister of Italy.
Oops. So.
Okay, okay. Just tell me when you're ready, man. Tell me when you're ready. You gotta get it to, great background, great everything, but you're just knocking over books and stuff. But let's keep on going. Let's see if he's ready. Go ahead, sir.
That's
you ready
my
now?
mic. Sorry.
Okay, now you
Apologize for
sound
that.
good. Are you from the UK, sir?
Yes, I am from the UK, and so just got my my little studio set up. And
have you ever robbed anyone with a knife at knife point?
No. Do I look like someone that would? Do I look like that?
No. But in America, we find that absolutely funny. That robbing. I don't find it funny in terms of like the actual crime itself, but in UK, you guys rob each other with knives. That's kind of crazy.
Because guns are not as prevalent as in the US.
America is like, you know what it is, man. It's like, okay, here you go. Go ahead, sir.
But have you heard like lately, like in the past month, there's been a shooting like weekly, and for the UK, that's been that's like so abnormal because we probably got a shooting like every 2 or 3 years.
No offense to you, Ennis. We could care less about the UK and America. No offense.
No. It's
we're the Michael Jordan of the planet.
Yes, but if you can't, I understand you don't care less, but if you're gonna, like Kevin Samuel says, you got to speak facts. You can't just.
I gotta look that up. I gotta look that up. I have no idea about that, but I will look that up. Ennis, but what say you about Italy and them telling them, hey, you can't bring these migrants here?
Well, Italy, I have to be careful because I travel to Italy quite a bit. But Italy is a, for lack of better words, not so friendly place to Black people. So I don't want to, be too harsh, but yeah, it's not kind to people of color. So they're gonna have a problem regardless of if it's 2 immigrants or 200.
They should, and you know what? Here goes my thing. They should have a problem with you coming over to their country, and they should. Everything everything in terms of xenophobia that they do, they should do that. I totally agree with them. Why are you there? These people are telling you, hey, we don't want you here. So
No,
why
no,
not,
not initially. Not initially.
sir?
Initially they welcomed them there. You know why? Because they needed people to work in the fields. They needed people to work do the menial manual
It
jobs
me
that no one else would do. So that's the same as in the UK. The white folk in the UK don't want to go out and do the pick the potatoes anymore. So the immigrants, but since they had the Brexit now, so they're stopping them all from coming over here. So they cannot. The economy's starting to die and dip now because now they have no one pushing through the like just keeping the infrastructure going. So it's yes, we don't want you here, but how do you keep the economy going? Because the people that you raise, your
I,
homegrown folks don't want to do the simple
listen,
work.
hold on for a second. Here goes the thing. I am in total agreement with how do you say it? The premiership or
Premier,
prime minister in Italy. I am in total agreement with her turning away African migrants,
don't
Middle
cut off your
Eastern
nose to
migrants.
spite your face, though.
I am in total agreement with her. I
Don't
think
cut
that
off your nose to spite your face, though.
hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with her. The Africans should nationalize their own resources, and the Europeans should not have a hand in African resources. I agree with everything that that woman says. What about
Mm-hmm.
you, sir? Do you agree with that or
I
no?
agree with that, but we know that's not happening. We know
How
that
do you know that?
We know that Europeans are pillaging the African content as well as with the Chinese and other places. So they're pillaging the African content for their resources, and then
Mm,
telling them that they can't come here to or come to their different places to work when they're taking what they need so their countries run. How does
mm.
that work?
I could tell you how it works. The African needs to stop being a punk. The African, no, it's the truth. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's the truth. And nobody else will say it but me. The African needs to stop being a punk. The African will sit there and fight everybody else, but when it comes to the European, he's scared to death. The fact of the matter is that now here goes the thing. Now you've been watching the Lapeef Network for a long time, sir. You heard black people on here say that we were the Moors, we're the warriors, we're this, we're that. So if we're so smart and we invent everything, then why can't we nationalize an entire continent of 1 billion plus people? What makes the European so damn superior to us? Supposedly the European is superior to us. You've heard this on this network a lot of times, my good sir. So if the European is not superior to us, then we should not have a problem with nationalizing that beautiful continent that the universe gave us with all those resources that the white man needs to live on. Because if you, I don't know if you noticed in this, the Eiffel Tower is powered through, I think through a power plant in Africa. Go ahead, sir.
And most of the electricity that
And you're in
is
France.
running that's running the UK right now is
Yeah,
coming from France.
yeah.
So it's half a dozen whatever
It-
6 or whatever however you say it. Can't even remember the phrase 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But
Italy cannot take in. They took in 90,000 migrants last year, right? I don't know if you know this, but I did my stats. I did a lot of research on this topic, even though it doesn't seem like it. In Italy's prisons, 40% of inmates are non-Italians. Think about that, sir. You're you come to these countries, Middle Easterns and Africans, commit crimes, you bring your culture there, and then the Italian locks your asses up.
so if you go to a country, you got
Yeah,
skills to do. You go to a country, you got the skills to do the work that they need, and that to fill in they need like these guys to do the work, but
yeah,
it's not the reason why they end up in the prisons is because after they do the work they can't get fair housing and they have problems with transportation and just the regular people that they are surrounded by. So
sir.
therein lies the problem. So you got guys, you got people coming even into the UK just want to do honest work, but then you got the people that like here from the UK and that are from Italy that feel like they just shouldn't belong just because they were born here, that no one else deserves to be here. But So they treat these guys wrong. They push them out. They do all types of things to them. So the crime rate raises because they can't prosper. You got a lot of Eastern European like gangs and stuff in the UK. Is because these people are being ill treated by the people that live here, the Caucasian people that live here. And you can listen to I listen to the radio station, the talk shows daily, and the races are now they're not even like being subtle about it. They're calling into the stations and saying, "Oh, we don't want them, send them back." Just and it's not even for no valid reasons. It's just blatant discrimination. So it all boils down to like everyone wants to prosper. Everyone's trying to look for the silver lining on the other side or whatever. And that's what everyone's looking for. The people that live here in the UK, they want everything to be rosy and fantastic. The people that are coming to the UK want everything to be rosy and fantastic, but no one wants to work together. Before Brexit, the UK, the pound was almost twice the dollar. Now it's just above the dollar. Just because of the selfishness, because of the Brexit, and because of the prime minister we have now. It's just, your boy Boris, who's Trump's buddy. These guys are just wrecking the economy, and the economy is going down, down, down. So, why? How Anton says, whitey or white, that white, WHYT. They are destroying the economy and the world slowly but surely. And if there are people like myself and you that are not picking up yourself by the bootstraps and doing what you need to do, you're gonna get caught in that downflow and get just. But yeah, if you wanna, I'm not gonna say you're preaching rhetoric, but it's just like, they doing what they do because they evil, they mean, they rude, whatever. There's some of the Africans that are going there. It's only a small percentage of that's ruining it for everybody. It's not the vast majority. As Kevin Samuels would say, if we speak in general terms, it's not the vast majority of Africans, because there are a lot of good Africans that that go to these places to work, to live for a better life. So we are taking a small minority of bad people and blaming on all of them.
No offense to you, sir, but all I heard was excuses coming out of your mouth.
I'm so sorry. Cat, I'm a big fan of yours. I love when you, Veronica, go ahead.
And I'm gonna tell you why, my good sir.
But
you want the European to be nice to you.
No, I don't want them to be nice. I don't want them to be nice.
You want the European to be fair.
No, I don't want them to be fair.
Said something about fair housing, sir.
Nope. I did say that, but I'm not asking them to be that.
Sir,
if I can go and plow a field,
sir,
and I work my backside off so I can plow that field, I don't want anybody to make it easier for me. If I'm working hard to do what I need to do, then let me do it.
Sir, why can't you, not just you, plow a field in Liberia? Why can't you plow a field in Niger?
Have you been to Zimbabwe and on those other places where most of the countries owned by wealthy Europeans? Or
if I'm not mistaken,
the rich farming lands are owned by Europeans.
You're talking to somebody who knows about African politics.
The vast majority of arable lands. The vast majority of arable lands in Africa and that produce resources are owned by Caucasians.
If I'm not mistaken, my good sir.
You are mistaken, good sir.
Robert Mugabe got the Europeans up out of that land in Zimbabwe. Now, if you know something that I don't know, then that's fine. But what I'm saying, sir, is that there are countries in Africa where there ain't a white face in sight. And what I'm saying, sir, if you are...
Where's Mugabe from? Where's Mugabe from?
Isn't he from Zimbabwe?
If let's you're taking a guess. I'm not even gonna answer for you. I'm not gonna answer for you. You're saying Zimbabwe. Now take Zimbabwe. How big is Zimbabwe compared to the entirety of the continent of Africa?
Sir, I mean, I don't have a clue how big it is compared to the entirety of Africa. I mean, what kind of question is that?
That's like New York inside of the USA.
You know damn well that Zimbabwe is a little bit bigger than New York, if I'm not mistaken.
In comparison, because the land mass of Africa is massive.
Sir, hear me out for a minute. Just hear me out. Hear me out. I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from.
So you
But
must understand the entirety
sir,
of the
sir,
continent.
the Italians, the Italians that are descended from the ancient Romans, who have lived there continuously for thousands of years, I believe that they have every right to be fascist, to be nationalist. I, I mean, think about it, sir.
In their own country, though, not in Africa, in their own country.
Well, see, that's the thing. The Italians are not trying to be fascists outside of their.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Prime Minister.
Yes, they are.
Sir, the Prime Minister is literally telling most of Europe, let the Africans keep their own resources and don't. And why should they? Why should they bombard? And not just the Africans, but other groups of people. Why should they bombard Europe? Why not just stay in your homeland and use your own resources? You just said.
Because the resources that they get from the continent keep Italy and the rest of the European continent wealthy.
But that's what Prime Minister Meloni is talking about. She is saying that if you want these people to stop bombarding the European borders, leave their continent alone. Leave them alone.
We know that's not going to happen.
How do you know that? Things change,
know.
Sir.
No, wealth and power is never the premises of wealth. The premises of wealth and power will never change.
But sir, you never know what will happen.
What do rich people want more than anything?
I have no idea, sir. I'm not rich.
Come on now, chaotic. Come on, chaotic.
I'm a lowly homo.
Chaotic. Come on, chaotic. No, I'm not taking it.
I'm not rich.
Rich, wealthy people. Their whole aim is to create more wealth and to become richer and wealthier. They're not gonna. Oh, I got enough.
So let me ask you this. So it seems like you are not in agreement with Prime Minister Meloni, and it seems like you want those migrants to just get off the boat in Sicily, get off the boat in Italy, and just bombard the streets of Italy. You that's what you want them to do, correct?
I'll let you rewind it and see where I said that.
Okay, I'm asking you. I didn't say that you said that. I'm just asking.
Okay, I wanted to get it totally and wholly clear.
That you said that, my good sir. I'm just asking.
No. So I think opportunities where there is opportunity for people to prosper, they should be allowed to prosper. Like when I was in college, I wanted to do get on a foreign exchange program. Guess what? I went to Spain for 6 months so I can take in some of the culture and learn and fair exchange and whatever. So and they can likewise, so it's what we do. We're humans. We don't stay in one place. We roam the earth. We're explorers. We're explorers at heart. That's what we do. We like to go and see places. When you get into a new house, you don't just stay in the house. You go, let me go see the backyard. Let me go see what's out there. We're natural explorers. So to say to one person or one people they can't move anywhere, it's crazy.
Isn't it ironic? But hold on for a second. Isn't it ironic that you mentioned that human beings are natural explorers?
Yep.
But for some reason, we only explore white countries. It's fascinating because I've heard this before.
That's a good one, Chaotic. That's a good one. Let me stop you for Chaotic. Let me stop you for this. I got a good comeback for you, Chaotic. We explore. We go to white countries and explore these white countries that you say, and the white countries come to Africa and exploit us.
That is pretty funny. That's funny. That's funny. So
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Sorry.
So let me ask you this. What should be done with the migrant vessels? These I think the last vessel probably had Libyans on there, I think, if I'm not mistaken. What should be done? Should they be returned back to Libya? Or should they be allowed to remain in Italy? Or should they be taken to France?
Okay. I don't mean to be deliberately combative, but
no, you're good.
On the same token, you're asking me, what to do with these, what do we do with them? No one, not a single person, is asking about the Ukrainians that are in war with Russia that are getting dropped here in the UK
We can,
or in
but you got
Poland.
to be careful because YouTube has warned us not to talk about Ukraine, so we have to
Okay,
divert the
so
topic now. But what I'm asking you, sir, is that France has former colonies in West Africa that you know of.
yes.
These
So, but I'm not
countries,
going to say that name of that
but give
country.
me,
But
but give me,
those folks
yeah,
are
yeah,
being allowed, and there
okay,
is no one asking the questions or saying what you're saying
okay.
right
But
now.
what I'm saying is, hear me out for a minute.
What's the difference? The
All
difference
I'm
is
saying
this.
is that all I'm
That's the
saying is that,
difference.
sir. All I'm saying is that in France has former colonies in Africa. These
Hmm.
former colonies rely on on a certain type of currency that was created by the French. There's a 50% um a fee or whatever in terms not whatever, but there's a 50% fee on export revenue. What I'm saying is that who are the French to get mad at Italy for turning away migrants when in fact
Yeah, who
France
are
is
the
the reason
French?
why a lot of these migrants are leaving Africa. So what I'm saying is that why don't the French just admit that they're wrong, admit that Prime Minister Meloni is right, and just take the damn migrants?
Because the French some of the biggest like war criminals, pillagers in the world. So
Yeah,
that's just in their nature. Like they just need to be right. Look what they done to Haiti.
yeah,
So I mean, it's like it's weird. You got just these two factions going back and forth, and they're both the same color. They're both the same like they both spit the same rhetoric, and they but not in skin color, but I mean
yeah.
like whatever. They both spit the same rhetoric, and here they are talking about like what one can do and what the other can do. It's
Mm.
mm,
I want to point out
yeah.
that his ghetto point of view said CT in this wants Italy to look like Texas. Do you know what Texas looks like?
Yeah,
In this,
I've been to
yeah,
Texas quite a
looks
few
like
times.
Mexico. Looks like Mexico.
Well,
And
if we're geographically correct, Texas is Mexico.
no, Texas is sir. See, this is
No,
where you
no.
get
Since
stuff. Texas is
they
not
changed the map, or whatever, Texas is
sir, sir,
geographically
sir,
correct. Is
sir,
Mexico as well as California,
sir, sir.
where I
Texas
lived
is
for the
not
last 4 years actually. So
Texas is not Mexico.
you
Okay,
you know exactly what I mean, chaotic.
I don't know what you're talking about. What I
Well,
do know is that Texas is
chaotic.
one of the greatest U.S. states ever.
If you
And
want
what
to
I'm
play that,
okay, so hear me out for a minute, sir. You know, in the UK, a lot of Middle Easterns, a lot of Africans, they bring their culture, they bring their flag with them. Okay, I can understand Italy's point of view or Meloni's point of view.
I'm not
Why?
disagreeing with you. I'm not
Yeah,
disagreeing with
I
you.
understand. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not disagreeing with you in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form, and neither am I disagreeing with his ghetto point of view.
Mm,
I'm not, it's just that it's like I said, cutting off your nose to spite your face.
mm.
It's like you're trying to ignore all the damage that you're done. There's an
What damage?
influx of there's an
What
influx of
damage did
people.
Italy do to
What
Africa?
go throughout the continent of Africa, and you will see the damage
Well,
that
what?
Italy, France,
What? No.
and the
What? No.
UK
Sorry.
and China and
Sorry.
everyone
Sorry.
else.
But besides Ethiopia and the Italians got their asses kicked, what damage did Italy do on the scale that France did?
Okay, so there's a book. There's a book that I read about the Moorish Wars.
Uh-oh.
So if we go back and we look at the wars that were had between the Italians and the Moors and the Ethiopians, and in that book they actually talked about the Ethiopians in the war and the Ethiopians kicking their butt. But the Italians are before they got to Ethiopia, they pillaged and raided quite a few other countries inside of Africa before they got demolished by Ethiopia. So they did just as much damage as everyone has had their time in history where they've done massive damage. So you can't quantify, say, Italy's done a little bit of this and or a little bit more than so and so. No, no. From Italy to England, England is the biggest whatever. But everyone has had their moment in time where they were massive tyrants.
Can I ask you a question, my good sir?
Go ahead.
Is there a country in Africa right now that relies heavily on, or before the EU, Italian, any Italian currency before the EU, before they went into the EU? Did any country in Africa rely on the Italian dollar? Whatever. What was the Italian
Before
dollar
or
before they
now?
joined?
You asking for
Well,
now or
now,
before?
it's all one currency in Europe. But what I'm talking about, before Italy joined the European Union, did any country in Africa rely on their currency?
No, they didn't need to, because
Thank you.
I can, and I can tell you why that is, because like the K, because of the wealth that they occurred, like the Bank of Lloyd's and whatnot, they never have to worry about money again because of the money they made off the warring, the pillaging, and whatever else, along with the slave trade and all of that. So that's what these countries are built on. They're built on the wealth of history. So they need not worry about where the money's coming from, because they excuse me, sorry, but they have they have acquired massive wealth. So no, you're not going to see that in these last, in in the better part of the last century. No, you're not going to see that, because it's already there. That's how they're able to prosper and basically get on with things.
Interesting. Interesting.
So you know that England's wealth, you know about the UK's wealth, right?
No, please enlighten me, sir. Go ahead. I mean, I know at one point that the sun never set on the European, or I'm sorry, on the British Empire. But please enlighten me on their and how they extracted their wealth.
The wealth that it basically, you knew that they were the prime, like Lloyd's Bank was the prime insurer of the slave trade.
So why are you telling me this?
Because that's where their money is still coming from today. That's where the majority of the resources, that's the majority of the wealth. That's where
In terms of the UK, correct?
The UK, that's where the generation of wealth comes from. And it's the same with strong countries like France and Italy. So France holds on to Haiti. Italy, I gotta look up the countries in Italy, and that Italy holds on to. But these are their sources of wealth.
Right. So I get what you're saying. Thank you for the history lesson. Thank you for the financial lesson as well. But what I'm saying is that I believe that Italy should be homogenized. It's pretty, to a degree, it's homogenized now. I believe that it should be homogenized. I believe that the country should be nationalized. And I believe that there should be a ban on further migrants coming into the country.
Yeah, I would say a ban. I would say restrict, and it's like people coming to the U.S. that you have to apply for a green card. You have to go through the process. You got to do what so you can acquire status or to be able to live there, but in a legal means. Just bombarding the border is crazy. It's crazy. No, that ain't right. That because yeah, it's just do it properly, do it right, do it correctly. And the thing that I wanted to say is that, like, I love like a nation that is like when you're playing Italy, like in football or whatever sport you want to play, or France or whatever, you're playing French people, not African born French people who are probably, which it just seems weird when you watch like just the World Cups going on now and you see the majority of teams, the Italian team or whatever, it's not going to be all that. The French team is half Africans, half the French team is African, so it's not essentially a French team. So it's just like I feel like you're being robbed a little bit, like if the English teams, they should be, they should be all white, they should be all white bred Englishmen going to play Africans that are all black, born and bred in Africa, and French should be French, wine drinking, baguette eating, whatever, and Italians. It should. That's what it should be, because that would be a true World Cup. That would be like you are definitely playing one nation versus the other. Right now, you're playing nations that have a, a, a worldwide team within their team. So that's I'm a big into sports, and that's just it would be nice to see. So
Is she racist, sir?
is she racist?
Prime Minister of
Some
Italy.
some of her policies definitely are. Some are they are overly aggressive.
So she made strong statements against the LGBTQ community and
What's the matter with that? Have you seen what the African have you seen what some of the African prime ministers said about the LGBT communities?
I'm not talking about the Africans right now. I'm talking about the African presidents, and I know
Yeah,
many of them. But I'm asking you, what I'm asking you.
So what's the difference between her saying it and them saying it? What's
no
the
there's no difference.
So why even bring up the point if there's no difference?
I'm bringing it up because I'm just talking about how
you're looking for brownie points. You're looking for brownie points to try to sink a ship.
Ennis, you're not giving me a chance to talk. What I'm saying is that I love this woman because this woman is conservative.
Come on,
she doesn't want the decay of her society, and we know that the LGBT or rainbow community, they don't. I mean, think about it, man. How can a society reproduce if people are a part of the rainbow community? I agree with that woman when she was.
I totally agree with that as well.
Yeah,
I'm not into that. I don't support that. I don't, but it's like, you can't pick at her scab and not, and not somebody else's. Like that is like, that's you can't pick at that. You got to find other stuff. She is some of her policies and some, definitely. But
so you're not saying basically she's just too extreme.
Yeah, she is extreme. Okay. Yeah, she's extreme. I mean, she's just, it's for lack of better words, she's just strong and wrong. This is I'm sorry to the ladies that are that may be listening, but this is why women shouldn't be in massive places of power like this. I just you don't lead a country and politics with emotions. That takes you down like a dangerous road. Everyone gets hurt. So no.
Let me ask you this question, my good.
Your friend Veronica will be all over the emotions. She thinks opposite. She'd be all over them emotions.
If the African discovered cobalt 1,000 years ago and refined it and made a product out of it, or use it for some sort of product, where would the African be right now?
They'd probably be in space right now.
Probably in space.
They'd probably be in space.
I agree.
So what was his? Is it not Mugabe? What was his name that they killed? Not Hussein.
Well, in Africa or the Middle East?
In Africa, the one they, I think it's Gaddafi.
Gaddafi.
Yeah, he was trying to. So see how you're talking about cobalt and mining it and controlling it. So when he was trying to control the money in Africa and make it one currency, and Africa would have been unstoppable, they sent people in there to kill him because they don't want that, because Africa, I mean the US, the UK, China, no one would be able to compete with the African dollar. So going back to your cobalt thing, it's cool, it's a fantasy, but if they would have even started to, they would have got destabilized like they do every time they see progress, they send some ops in there to destabilize the country, and it's just sad.
High Club or High Cube says Black people who have given up on developing their country, their continent, and their people fled are as poor and terrible as Africa. I agree.
I don't understand that. I don't understand.
I get what they're saying. What they're basically saying, sir, is that giving up and living in the very same countries that have exploited you make you poor and terrible. So,
But
you can live in the UK, you can live in Germany, you can live in Italy, you can live in France, you can, be whatever you want to be there. But never forget that these are the very same countries that colonized your ancestral homelands.
mhm.
So
but
I can
the
understand.
but
Yeah.
the to his to that statement, the a lot of the what these people are leaving or fleeing from is the warring that's going on inside of their country, which is
Well, whose
done
fault is that?
that's done through the destabilization of that country because
Okay.
of whatever resources they have that someone else wants.
Mm,
So they come in, they take the resources, they get wealthy. You can go and visit, tons of places. Like you've seen the movies, the about the diamond and Leonardo DiCaprio, Blood Diamond. You know,
a
you
movie.
got you got yeah, you got excellent examples of what is actually happening.
Mm.
Go ahead to the next one. Sorry.
Let me see. Says, back to your point, UK imported diversity too. About 7% population of black male soccer team has 45% black men. Women's soccer national team is almost completely white, and they win the championships. I don't know
Yeah.
what invest is meaning. Okay, I don't know what
Okay,
invest.
I know it is trying to say that. So they put a little color in the Kool-Aid, and so the team's not as good anymore. So the women's team is still all pure, and they're the best, like some of the best, one of the
Oh
best
yeah, I
teams in the
don't.
world.
Yeah, we don't really. Yeah, we don't really watch soccer over here. Soccer sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I'm just not the soccer itself, just the blood, the infusion of the bloodline, basically. So
Well,
the women's team is mostly white, one or two, if there
okay.
are any black girls in there, and they're doing quite well. They're very dominant. But the men's
Mm.
team has half of it's black British born players, and the team is so so.
Oh, okay. But they're saying if it was mostly white, it might be. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the last time they won the World Cup was 1966, and those were Englishmen, all white Englishmen,
Oh,
hardworking Englishmen.
so who are the better soccer players on the planet then? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
The Brazilians,
oh,
yeah,
Brazilians. Okay.
yeah, which who derive from the directly from Africa. So
Oh, okay. Okay. How many World Cups has Brazil won?
Jesus Christmas, they're probably the team that's closest to double figures. Between them and Argentina, probably the most World Cup wins.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, we don't really watch that over here.
you need to watch it, dude. I watch the NFL. I watch the NBA. I don't
Yeah.
watch hockey.
Yeah.
I don't watch baseball any. So baseball,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Let me
but yeah,
see here. Who else is in the chat? Guys, please hit the link if you want to come up. I'm up here talking to Ennis. He's a good guy. He's all the way from the UK. Ennis, I have to say this, man. There is nothing wrong with national pride. I'm not saying that you don't agree with it.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Nothing
from
wrong
the
with it.
West Indies, bro. I'm from the
Yeah.
West Indies. Do you know
Yeah.
when the West Indies play the England in cricket? Do you know what is? You
What is
just like
cricket? Sorry. What is that?
don't worry about it. It's above you. That's a gentleman's game. So that's something
Oh,
you need to elevate yourself to that. It's a
oh,
gentleman's
cricket.
game. So yeah, it's a gentleman's game. So we have tea. We have a
Yeah.
spot of tea and biscuits
Yeah.
and stuff during
Yeah.
the intermissions and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know what cricket is, and I've seen it. I don't know how it's played. It looks boring to me. Americans, we have the best sports on the planet. Let me see who else is in the chat. Lord Spike says soccer as a sport is a beautiful sport. The politics, economics, quid pro quos are what make it ugly. Do you know what Lord Spike means by that?
yeah,
No, I'm asking you. Do you know what Lord Spike means by that in terms of the politics, economics, and the quid
yeah,
pro quo?
definitely. And that's just in sports. That's the politics.
Mm,
That's just in sports. So
okay. Okay. You know, um, what should be done in Africa? Like, what is your overall dream about Africa?
man, that is such a massive, beautiful place.
Yeah.
And the man, it's that question is not for me to answer.
Okay.
That question is not for me to answer. I mean, the dream is. We all know what the dream is. I mean, if it could be Wakanda, we all know what the dream is. But yo, it is what it is, man. It's a little bit disheartening, but at the same time, it is what it is. And understanding history, that we actually played a part of like where we are at. Like Africans actually played a part of some of the destabilization of the continent. Um, so we have so like the Woman King was a perfect example of talking about a narrative which was based off of something that actually happened, but they reversed the narrative of the actual story. So
Mm,
the actual story in Woman King is the women are going to stop the white folk from stealing the slaves, when the tribe of women, that actual tribe of women in Africa back then, were actually going to other African villages,
and
capturing and
capturing, yeah,
conquering,
yeah,
and then selling them to the white folks.
yeah,
So they totally reversed the story. So we've done some of it. We've done ourselves, because if we conquer, if my country's next to your country and I come in, take all your men and your women, then your country gets smaller, mine gets stronger, and then I get wealthier. And
yeah.
and then I take over your people, they come and live and work for me and whatnot. And that's how it used to go. That's how it used to be. Everyone was still able to uh live basically, and
Yeah.
not be suffering. But now it's changed, where the conquering is, when you get conquered, there is no form of like a viable living, or whatever. So
And
Joe and
I
them
want,
needs to stop. Cricket is not the man. I'm not even gonna say it, man. You
I
just
want
don't
to
know.
I want to keep on reading this article, but I want you to stay here, okay? Let me see. Having promised to defend Italy's interest in Europe just weeks into her premiership, Melanie, or Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni,
Maloney.
yeah, Meloni, now finds herself in a diplomatic role that threatens to damage Rome's interest and leave her isolated in Europe. Meloni said she was struck by the aggressive reaction of the French government, which is incomprehensible and unjustified, and pointed out that Italy has taken in 90,000 immigrants from the Mediterranean this year, including 600 from the NGO vessels, on the same day that France agreed to take 234 on the Ocean Viking. A voluntary migrant redistribution scheme agreed by EU countries, European Union countries, in June has fallen short of its goals. Maloney said of 8,000 people who should have left Italy, only 117 have been relocated, including 38 to France. Maloney said that Italy cannot be the port of Europe for all migrants. I agree with her on that, arriving from Africa. She called for European naval mission to block departures from North Africa and open hotspots to identify migrants. Just weeks after right-wing coalition took power, the opportunity to demonstrate its hard line on migrants proved irresistible. Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi, hopefully I'm saying that right, a technocrat
And see
close
it.
to the Anti-Immigration League, condemned migrant rescue vessels, which were not in line with the spirit of European rules on border control, and refused permission to land to several NGO ships. He claimed that migrants should request asylum from the country where the NGO vessel was registered. I agree with that too. In a week long standoff with several rescue boats, Italy allowed only migrants deemed vulnerable to disembark, leading some on board to start hunger strikes and throw themselves overboard. After the Ocean Viking left for France, instead, coalition members celebrated. Matteo, um, Vice Prime Minister and leader of the league, said the air has changed. Mauricio Gaspari, a senator from I can't pronounce his word. Berlocosi's I don't speak Italian. The policy of resoluteness on immigration pays off. By the celebrations raised hackles in France, where the government had been criticized by far right leader Marine Le Pen for being soft on immigration. In Brussels, meanwhile, the European Commission rebuked Italy, saying migrants must be allowed to disembark immediately. Well, send them to Brussels then. Send them to Brussels. Analysts and opposition politicians said the incident risks alienating alienating European allies and the institutions at a time when goodwill is critical for Italy as member states began negotiations over the reform of European Union fiscal rules. Meloni chose Brussels as her first overseas trip as premier last week, assuring leaders that Italy will be responsible or a responsible European partner. She asked the Commission to adapt Italy's post pandemic economic recovery plan and use the unspent 2014-2020 EU structural funds for measures to combat energy prices, which would need a change in European rules. Leah Quartapelle of the leftist Democrats said that Italy needs alliances in Europe to obtain results on the reform of fiscal rules, the sure fund for unemployed and energy security. Fighting with European countries on landings may be useful to gain a couple of decimal points in the polls, but it damages Italy's interest. MEP, I don't know what MEP is, but that must be a party in Italy. Sandra Gozzi, former Italian junior minister for Europe, told France 24 that Meloni, pretends to cooperate with Europe in Brussels, while in Rome, she continues to promote extremist right propaganda. We Italians must be the first to respect European rules as we are receiving unprecedented financial resources. Fulvio Vassallo Pelagio, a lawyer and professor in asylum law at Palermo University, told Politico that Italy's behavior creates a large fracture in Europe and makes an agreement for a solution further away. Italy's approach fosters disunity and could have devastating effect on issues such as a recovery plan. Now, in my opinion, Ennis, I believe that they are trying to bully Italy into accepting immigrants or migrants.
Yeah, because they don't want to.
Exactly.
No one
Yeah,
else wants
Brussels
to.
does. Yeah, I agree.
No one wants to. No one wants to. So, and then no one should have to. Like, it's back to the point of like, at one point there was a like border control where, like, to get into the UK you had to go through a a process, and the same thing with Italy, the same in France, the same as Spain. You had to go through like an immigration control.
Yeah.
So that got, for some reason, that got broke down, and it's not what it was. They just just stopped allowing people. They just stopped the process, and that process allowed a healthy amount of people to come through the system. Whereas they came through the system, they can track them, they got jobs, they were valued to in those communities because they were now productive citizens in those
Can I?
communities. But now that's not the case. So you got people
Can I
bombarding the border,
yeah.
and yeah, so
Can I
it's
ask you
not
a
happening.
question? Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question, Ennis? Would you be in favor of? It may not happen now, but let's assume that this could happen. Would you be in favor of the complete nationalization of sub-Saharan Africa, meaning that the resources are ours, our borders are closed, Europeans are leaving? Would you be in support of just sub-Saharan African or Africa for the Black Africans?
I have to think of the ramifications. What would that benefit? How benefit? Like,
Okay,
because we
you
have
want me
all
to
the.
ask?
I'm
You want
just
me to ask?
I'm just
You
minding
start
it out. I'm
off
just
first.
minding it out. I'm just minding it
Okay,
out.
okay, okay, okay.
We have all the like. Well, I'm saying we. Africa has all the resources that they need, so they really wouldn't need to rely on anybody for anything, because everything that is produced in Africa. So I mean, to shut the borders, or that would paramount suicide to the people and to the continent. I mean, it's just because we're nomadic people. I mean, even if we is so what you're saying, that no one can visit is just like
No.
just no one can visit, just like just
What I'm saying is, would you be for? And this is what Prime Minister Meloni is talking about: the complete nationalization of all resources in Africa. And would you
Oh
be
hell
for
yes, yes,
right?
yes.
And would you be for borders closing? And
No,
if you okay, you wouldn't you wouldn't want borders closed in Africa
no,
in
no,
any country. Okay, I got
no.
you. I got you.
Because we learned like you know about Makkah, right?
Mecca and Saudi
Yes.
Arabia. I
You
don't know all about it, but I'm familiar with the Hajj. Yeah,
yes. And who goes to Mecca? What is the demographic of folks that go to Mecca?
I would assume it's all peoples, blacks, whites,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
Asian.
so so like that is a place of peace, prayer, and unity.
No, it's
So
not. No, it's not.
Mecca, this
Why is
the
if it was the
not
place of
not
unity?
no not the event, not all of the politics and all that stuff around it. I'm talking about like the what people go to Mecca for. That spiritual connection, that that rite of passage that you
No,
have to be allowed into.
no,
Not anyone could just go there.
no. I don't believe it. Now you could be right. I could be wrong. But if a people are telling you that the language of God is their religion, is their language, then in my opinion, that is no unity. That is the people who are conquering you.
But every
Now,
religion
I'm
does
not
that.
downplaying the religion itself. I think the religion is. I have friends who are Muslim,
But
but
every religion
I
does
don't.
that, chaotic.
Sir, the last time I checked, the Orisha weren't conquering. The people who profess the Orisha belief aren't conquering people.
Who's the biggest conquerors? What religion is the biggest conquerors of the world?
I don't know. I got to ask you that.
Oh,
What
come
religion is that?
on.
No, I'm asking
Christianity.
you. Nobody's ever
Christianity, the
conquered.
Catholics.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, all I'm saying
Yes,
is
yes, and yes or no. Is that
if
correct
you
or
are
not?
saying
Is
that
that
the
correct? Chaotic, is that correct or no?
okay, yes, but if you are saying that this place is a place of unity, then if it's unity, why not everybody use their own language?
I don't know. It's like they say when you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do.
I got you. I feel you though. You could be right.
So
I mean, I'm just throwing another question out there.
yeah, I'm just I'm easy. Like, hey, dude, I'm like water for camels, or water for turtles' back, or whatever you say.
Carlisle says, "How about the Africans stay in Africa? These countries can't even manage their rich resources. Get the fuck out of here." Let me see. Carlisle also says, "Beggars unable to manage and harness all these resources, Africa will continue to laugh, or I guess he meant continue to be laughed at, as long as their leaders continue to be buffoons." You know, let me ask you this. So you are for the African controlling the resources,
Yeah,
creating a finished product, and let's say selling the product,
yeah.
or through import, export, whatever.
You know what would happen, right?
What would happen?
If they did that. The same thing that England done to the rest of the world.
What's that?
They would gain power. They would gain absolute control, and they would wield that power because
Yeah.
other people would need their
You
resources
think
because
that
they will come.
you think that the blacks would use the same tactics?
Yes, they did. They did in the past.
When?
We did in the past.
When?
The Woman King was a perfect example of talking about what we did in the past. How we pillaged each other to be on top. So if we're willing to do that to each other, just imagine if the whole country had that power. What the rest of the world would be. They would. Oh my goodness, that would be sort of scary.
Which African country would be superior?
I don't know which African country, but in order for something like that to work, the countries should have to.
It'll be Nigeria.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't necessarily be Nigeria because the countries would have to come together and form a like they have in the States, and elect a a governing person to govern over, like who's going to be governor or president or whatever you want to call him.
What would you want the lingua franca? What would you want the lingua franca to be?
Lingua franca, what's that?
Language. What would you want the main language to be? Like everybody.
The dominant language in Africa now is French.
Oh. I know a lot of French-speaking Congolese. I know a lot of French-speaking Nigerians. I know a lot of French-speaking. Obviously, I know a lot of Senegalese. So yeah.
The dominant language in is French.
From Sierra Leone who are French-speaking. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you but you have to seriously think as strong, as powerful as a people as we are, without control, we would have with control.
Mm.
We have teams that play whatever sports, and they have the least amount of resources. Like, look at the Jamaican bobsled team, and look what they went and done in an arena that was unknown to them. Now imagine if you're taking that small, minute, and then you just the whole country now has that. Huh?
No, I was just joking. I was saying sport, by the way.
But you get my analogy. Like, if the people are that strong and that resilient to put them in an environment, the snow and the cold they're not used to, and still be strong enough to prosper. So if you take a whole continent of African people that are like that, and now we're prospering, what is the rest of the world in for? Maybe it's by design that Africa is not in control, because the rest. I mean, you see what the leaders do in Africa. You see what the Mugabes do in Africa. They're in control. They're gonna head out to the rest of the world. They're gonna hand that out to the rest of the world. And if you think that it's just gonna stay on the country, no, I doubt it, because that's not what we do. We get power. Look what Mansa Musa did. Mansa Musa, he went from country to country, spreading and giving away his gold and whatnot, because he had so much of it. Yeah, he was, but that's yeah. Like, it's different. I would be afraid. I would be afraid. You would have to be on the right side of the power, inside of that power structure, and then it's still, even in that power structure, as you've seen in history, just because you had the power, that doesn't mean you wouldn't be toppled down, as you've seen other dictators happen in Africa.
And I've been talking to you for like an hour, and I have to ask you something.
What's this?
You have a white girlfriend. you have a white girlfriend.
Sorry,
you like snow bunnies.
No, I have to disappoint you. I totally have to disappoint you. My beautiful daughter is 23 years old.
Really?
She's in her last year of medical school. She will be a doctor in a year's time. My son is 20 years old, and he will be a architecture in 2 years time. And
in 2 years time?
Yeah, in 2 years time. Just fabulous young.
I didn't hear what you said. You said your son will be what now?
An architect in 2 years.
Your daughter, you said something really unique, and a lot of people in America don't know this. Your in UK, you go right into your field of training right after, if I'm not mistaken, high school, right?
Sort of. Yeah, she had to do a lot of studying and stuff, like straight from high school, but it doesn't take as long.
Yeah,
as you do, like, because she was actually. She's, her mother and everything's from here. We're from here, but she was actually born in California, because we were working in California at the time, and she was born.
She's a U.S. citizen then.
So she's a U.S. citizen, and she's a UK citizen, and she has my citizenship from Bermuda. So she's got 3.
Okay, awesome. And what's my brain? What field in medicine is she going into?
She's not quite sure. I've been asking her this. She's leaning more towards the like cutting people open. She likes to.
Oh, she want to be a surgeon. Okay.
Yeah. So
there's going to be a doctor shortage in in America, but they suggest 2030. So maybe she could come over here and fill up some positions over here, but
no, you don't want nobody. You don't want nobody crossing your borders and population.
America, where? I mean, Britain. I mean, we came from.
No, you can't. No, you can't have that. We can't have. You're gonna mess up everything. Chaotic. We can't. That can't happen.
Obviously, America will want to take a.
That can't happen. Chaotic. That can't happen, brother. We got to keep them here in England, and so we got to keep them for ourselves and take care. Whatever happens to America, if you have a shortage, and you guys, people,
No, we need some
people,
doctors over here because a lot of people over here in this are getting underwater basket weaving degrees. So we need actually intelligent people who are going to fill up the real jobs. Gemini says, do they have the capabilities to manage and control their resources? Africa should take control and become competitive. I totally agree with that. Let me see. Lord Spike says, that's great. My son is 25 and has a master in the STEMs. What STEM is that, Lord Spike? If anybody does not know, the STEMs are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Put a 1 in the chat if you received an underwater basket weaving degree when you went to university. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you received a STEM when you were in university. I want to point out that Michael Bishop says that Swahili should be the main language. Okay. Michael also says Congo will be superior in terms of finances and resources. I totally agree. Maybe Lingala, which is a Congolese language.
Where's Congo located to?
Central Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, I met a lot of great Congolese growing up. Was not in love, but dated kind of Congolese girl. She spoke Lingala.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Chaotic. Why would you say that, brother?
Say what? That she can come to America?
No, that I probably have a snow bunny. Why would you disrespect
because
a brother like that?
It's something about UK blacks that I get. It's like you guys, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because you guys speak the Queen's language. I don't know, man. I've always thought that most black guys get white women over in the UK. I don't know. Wow.
Well, they do. Yeah. But someone pointed that out, and it's like, so if you are 2 black boys or 3 black boys, and you're in a neighborhood of like 200, 300, 400, maybe even 1,000 people, the chances of you marrying someone that looks like you as you grow up, it's slim to none. So that's basically what happened. It has nothing to do with like a lot of the black guys going out looking for white girls. It was just who they were surrounded with. Like most of the kids, you'd have 1 or 2 kids in a classroom, 1 or 2 black kids in a classroom. So, but fortunately for me, I went to school in the Caribbean, so I grew up around all people that look like me, and so my wife looks like me, my kids look like me. Okay. There's no infusion of any sorts. So
interesting. Thank you. Let me see, guys. Please feel free to call in. Get the likes up. Any more questions, man? We
no, I'm that's it's been a great conversation. I definitely enjoyed it.
We agreed on a lot of stuff, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, I guess so. No worries. But you know what? Next time you're in the trenches, and because I'm always listening, and Veronica giving you a hard time, dude, just give me a call, man. Just give me a call.
I will. And
just give me a call. I help you out, bro. I got your back.
Thank you so much. And I have to admit this. I don't know what you guys call it in UK, but we call it either roasting or ranking in the States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Veronica, I will admit, is one of only a few people in my life that has ever out roasted or ranked me. She is very good at the art of roasting. I will admit that all day. Ennis, thanks so much, man.
No worries, man. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much, Ennis.
All right, bye-bye.
Peace. That was Ennis on the 1s and 2s. Miss Bet says 7%. What do you want to do? And black women in the UK imported the feminist leftist BS from the US. I had no idea. I didn't know that was true. Lord says I'm a building contractor. Interesting. Let me see. Khalida says I'm from the UK and black boys don't date many white girls, but I'm 23. I had no idea. Let me see here. Guys, this has been a great live stream. I know a lot of times when I do political topics that deal with overseas, a lot of times people don't know. But guys, please go check out Georgia Meloni or Melanie or Melanie, or I'm not pronouncing her name. She's Italian. But go check her out, guys. I think that she's a phenomenal politician. She's the prime minister of Italy, by the way. She's a phenomenal prime minister. I don't think that she's extreme. I think that she is an individual who loves her heritage, who loves her country. And, I think that people have a right, man, have a right to say, look, man, we got to protect the body politic here. And we can't have our culture depleted because of migrants coming in tenfold, you know? And like you said, all you gotta do is look at UK and look what happened over there. Let me see here. St. Joshua says, according to the Saudi General Authority for Statistics, about 1.6 million people flew into Mecca last year, roughly the size of Mecca itself, which is estimated to be home to 1.9 million people. I had no idea. Miss Bet says, if the diversity BS continues like that, it won't take long that you don't want to go to the doctors anymore. What do you mean by that, Miss Bet? I don't know what you mean by that. Let me see. Okay. Guys, please hit that like button, please. Let me see who else. I think I'm going to, if nobody calls in within 5 minutes, I think I'm going to end it here on the 2-hour mark. I'll wait. Mecca is Islam. Well, Mecca is, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's the capital of Saudi Arabia. I've never been there before. I have friends who went there for the Hajj. Let me see. Mecca is it's a city, administrative center of the Mecca province of Saudi Arabia. Interesting. Yeah, I've never been there before. But again, I had a lot of friends who went to the Hajj. It looks like a beautiful place, though. Oh, yeah. Different culture, man. Wow. I'm looking at pictures right now. Let's see here. Dimitri says his degree is in architecture and urban design. Thank you so much, sir. Let me see. Like 4 more minutes, guys. I'm gonna end it if nobody calls in. Let me see. Michael says no. What? Riyadh. I don't know how to pronounce that. I should know how. Is it? Let me see. Capital of Saudi Arabia. Let me see. What is the capital? I think you spelled it wrong. Yeah, that's what it is, and it's pronounced. And thank you for letting me know that. Actually, how do you pronounce? Is it? Oh, let me do the pronunciation for it.
Riyadh.
Oh, Riyadh. Okay, I had no idea. Savage.com Entertainment says Savage in the building. Miss Bet says, if you take doctor's students just because of color instead of grades, talent, and skills, what do you expect? Miss Bet, honestly, I don't think that the medical field in Western countries would dilute or dilute their courses or study to accommodate people just because of the color of their skin. When you're dealing with actual lives, I think that test standards are all typically the same. I highly listen, don't get me wrong. Are people, does affirmative action allow people to get into Harvard? Yeah, maybe. We don't know how many, but you ain't getting into medical school if you're dumb. You ain't getting into medical school just because you're black. I highly doubt that. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be definitely wrong. Lord says, shout out to the architect. Guys, it's coming up on the 2-hour mark in 2 minutes. If nobody calls in, I'm just going to end it. This has been a great live stream. Thank you guys so much. Let me see here. And my contacts. Let me see. While the Hajj is a huge gathering, it is among the smaller celebratory or religious travel events of the year. Chinese New Year caused around 400 million people to travel this winter. Didn't know that. What the? KG Yeatman says chaotic. What's up, KG Yeatman? How you doing? Positivity is definitely coming your way. Let me see. Kalita said, thanks, chaotic. Thank you so much, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you all, man. Positivity is definitely coming your way. This has been a great topic. Ennis came up from the UK. He had great talking points, man. The guy was like most people from the UK, they have brilliant minds and they speak the Queen's English. Let me see. Guys, one more minute, then I'm about to be up out of here. Salute to everybody that came through today and learned a little bit about Italian politics with Chaotic. Let me see. Who else is in the building? Oh, yeah, guys, by the way, this is off the subject, but do you think Deion Sanders will leave Jackson State and coach at Auburn? That is the question. Do you think that Deion Sanders will leave Jackson State and coach at Auburn? I listen. Look, man. I understand what he's trying to do, coaching at a HBCU. Trust me, I do. But come on, man. You know, Auburn. We're talking about, that's the big leagues, man. We're talking about $7-8 million a year, man. And you know he's only making 300,000. You know, I don't like being in the dude's pockets, but he's only making about 300,000 coaching Jackson State. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a capitalist. I would leave. I would leave. Yeah, I would leave. Now he probably has more freedom at Jackson State. You know, he had like 2 gangster rappers, drill rappers running out the tunnel. See, he ain't doing that at Auburn. See, you know, the athletic director say, Prime, please don't do that. That sets a bad example for the school. Let me see who's in the building. I'm about to get up out of here. Let me see real quick. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Michael Bishop says, happy Thanksgiving to you too, man, and everyone else. And the Auburn question is yes. Yeah, Mike. Listen, man. We talking about $40 million, and people could say, "Oh, he don't need the money." Trust me, Deion Sanders wants that. But come on, man. Listen, what person in their right mind would turn down $40 million or $3 million over 10 years? Stop it. I'll leave those kids so fast. Hey, man, I'll take the best ones. I'll take the best ones with me. Chris says, respect and blessings, Chaotic in chat. I'll give you a simple answer on Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State. Hell to the no. Wow. Absolutely. Demetrius says, nah, Auburn not going for that shit. No way. If nobody knows what Demetrius is talking about Deion Sanders' antics as a coach. You know, Deion Sanders, man, dude, listen. When I was a kid, Deion Sanders was up there on the Mount Rushmore of popular human beings of the time. It was Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, and Deion Sanders. There's no question about it. And I think that if he went to an Auburn, it would be, he would outshine the team, just like he's doing at Jackson State. But see, Jackson State's a HBCU. Ain't nobody really watching. But even there, he's outshining the team. Oh, Tony says simple math. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I do think he'll lead his boys just like that. Well, he won't leave his sons. He'll probably wait until his sons graduate. Lord Spike says my son is a project manager. Oh, he got his PMP, project management professional certification. Yeah, PMP. That's one of the creme de la creme certifications to have in America. Well, on the planet, really. Yeah, that's a good one. St. Joshua says there are over 55,000 doctors currently employed in the United States. 54% of all doctors are women, while 45% are men. Well, I didn't know that. The average age of an employed doctor is 48. I did know that. Yeah, it's going to be a doctor shortage. Yeah, everybody wants to be a YouTubian. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to, not everybody, but people want to be on OnlyFans. You know, when will people say, I want to go to medical school? Everybody wants to make money on YouTube now. Everybody wants to be a stock trader, a crypto trader, a Forex trader. What about people who want to go to school and be a doctor. I'm going to read one more, then I'm about to be up out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming through tonight. This has been an incredible live stream, and I mean incredible. I love you guys so much, man. Let me see. Miss Betts says, modern people don't really want to study. It's too much time. Or it is. It is. For 1 second. Let me see. I'm just waiting on the next chat. Salute to everybody that's here. Positivity is definitely coming your way. Who celebrates Kwanzaa in the chat? Who celebrates Kwanzaa? Kuji Kagalia. What's the other one? Umoja or Umo? I don't know. I don't know, man. Kuji Kagalia. Let me see. What are the principles of Kwanzaa? Let me see. Umoja, Kuji Kagalia, Ujama, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. What? Oh no, man, we ain't doing this. You gotta make gifts for people, please. No, we ain't doing that. Well, guys, nobody has called in. Happy holiday. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you all. Positivity is definitely coming your way. I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one. Peace. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. No Chaser says, Chaotic, you're bringing value to this YouTube space. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Guys, I will see you guys next week. I will talk about an American topic. I'm pretty sure that you guys will gladly call in. I know this topic is foreign. I know, but thank you for following the topic with me. But please check out Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and her stance on migrants coming into Italy. And it's not just African migrants. I don't want people to think that it's just African migrants as well. It's other people too from other places as well. Let me see. Well, guys, I got to get up out of here. Peace. Have a good one.